Hello everyone at Estevão Lives. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
Have you been to Obama's presidential library? Of course not. No one has. It's been in the works for 8 years, and it's only half done. But it is breaking records for the most days between leaving office and the grand opening, nearly 3,000 days and counting. Originally, it was supposed to cost $350 million, but a couple minor setbacks, some snowy winters. The price tag is now over $800 million. The Bulls built Jordan the United Center for under $200 million. Is Barack a bigger deal than Michael? We'll leave that debate for Stephen A. And speaking of Jordan, even he couldn't save Obama's pet project. He donated millions, along with, of course, George Soros, to help dig more dirt. But this library was doomed from the start because it was being built up with DEI.
Part of the reason we're here is because today is our big groundbreaking for the Presidential Center in Jackson Park. And, you know, it's going to be a 4-year project, a lot of work being done. And part of Michelle and my commitment was we want to make sure that the workforce on the center is representative of Chicago.
Obama demanded a third of the workforce to be minorities. No exceptions. But work didn't last for long. 3 years ago, a worker flagged a rope that looked like a noose, so Obama blew the whistle and sent everyone to anti-bias boot camp. Since then, the site's in disrepair, cracked concrete as far as the eye can see. And now the DEI contractors are backstabbing Barack, suing him for $40 million for racial discrimination. Obama stepped on his own shovel. This is what happens when you make racial promises you can't keep. Lawsuits, cost overruns, and slowdowns. But versions of his DEI boondoggle have played out all over America for years. It's why we celebrate DEI Thursdays. Biden tied up his own projects in woke red tape. You want a new road in Maine? Good luck finding a diverse construction contractor. The state's 90%.
I can't help but feel that Obama's approach to this project is extremely questionable. Obama, who always preached about fiscal responsibility and being mindful of public funds, seems to be doing the opposite by pushing for a library that will cost over $1 billion. Obama's library, located in Chicago, is going to be the most expensive presidential library in history. And Jesse Waters is right to call attention to the sheer scale of this. Obama could have chosen a more practical and affordable location, but instead he's creating a monument to himself that's going to drain public resources.
This is how you end up spending $8 billion on a half dozen charging stations. You got to be rational and flexible. Democrats ripped Trump for not paying contractors to finish jobs. Will they do the same for Barack? Donald Trump changed city skylines around the world, yet Obama can't even finish a library at a local park? At this rate, Trump will finish his library first. And who knows? Maybe Mexico will pay for it. Fox and Friends Weekend co-host Charlie Hurt joins me now. Charlie, this is quite a long process. What happened here?
Well, first of all, I just want to take a minute to appreciate how badly masks aged. I mean, looking at this right here with all of them masked up and shields on their faces, I love that forever we will be explaining to our children, our grandchildren, this psychotic episode that we all went through and that we never want to go through again. For the library, I love this story. It is the greatest story. It is a perfect encapsulation of Barack Obama's presidency. It was unnecessarily racialized, and then it winds up being years late, massively over budget, and then, of course, we find out totally incompetently done, kind of like everything he did throughout his presidency. And what I think is really remarkable here, massively over budget, it's at $800 million right now. It's going to wind up being over $1 billion. This is going to be the first $1 billion library ever built that's not like part of some university. And here's the crazy thing about it, Jesse. There are going to be billionaires who still want to suck up to this guy, who are going to give him the money to finish building this thing.
It looks so ugly. Can you see the screen?
And it's so ugly.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. And Charlie, we don't care if the contractor's white, black, a woman, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. But when you put this has to be this race For this amount of contracts, this is what
Right.
happens. Everybody just sues each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it is so ugly. It is so ugly. If you paid me $1 billion to go into this library, for this to be my library, I would say no thanks. Keep your $1 billion. It's so freaking ugly. Kind of like, but again, a perfect encapsulation of his entire presidency.
All right. I guarantee you Trump's library is going to be finished before Brock's. Guarantee it. And he should actually make that.
And it will be gold and beautiful.
It'll be gold and beautiful. Charlie, great to see you.
And Mexico will pay for it.
And Mexico will pay for it.
Jesse Waters rightly points out that while other presidents built libraries in more accessible places, Obama chose Chicago. Obama's decision seems to be more about political strategy than about making a sensible investment for the public good. Obama's obsession with leaving behind a massive legacy feels a bit self-serving when you think about the cost of the project and whether it's truly worth it. Jesse Waters brings up an important point about how other libraries, like George W. Bush's, were much more affordable and served a similar purpose without breaking the bank. It's hard to ignore that Obama's library will be more than just a research center. It will include spaces for events and community activities. While this sounds nice in theory, Jesse Waters raises a critical issue about its financial sustainability. Will Obama's library actually generate enough foot traffic to justify this colossal expenditure? Obama's priorities are once again questionable here, and Jesse Waters doesn't shy away from calling him out for it. I have to agree with Jesse Waters. It's tough to support a project of this magnitude when we know how much it could cost the public, especially in light of Obama's previous rhetoric about managing government spending. Obama could have built a more reasonable library that served its purpose without causing such a financial burden. Obama's focus on legacy building is certainly evident in this project, but I have to question whether it's worth the price tag. Jesse Waters calls out Obama's decisions, and frankly, I think it's warranted. In the end, Obama's presidential library seems to be a monument to his ego more than anything else. Jesse Waters makes some valid points that can't be ignored. It's easy to see that Obama is more interested in creating a grand legacy than in making wise financial choices for the country. I agree with Jesse Waters that we need to scrutinize this project more closely and ask whether Obama's actions align with the values he once claimed to uphold.